Welcome everybody. First Amendment at its best here. If you've never seen a table filled with concerned citizens before, take a good look. You may not see many in the future. Let me open up with a quote here. This card I have in my hands, this is a quote by an author named Dresden James. I'm not too sure who he is, but I like the quote, and it says, "When a well-packaged web of lies is sold gradually to the masses over generations, the truth will seem utterly preposterous, and its speaker, a raving lunatic." So on that note, a bunch of people bearing the truth make up the official Raving Lunatic Round Table. The subject for tonight is going to be the most important subject that we're facing right now. It affects everybody, whether you think so or not, and that's the economy. That's what's happening with these companies. The Federal Reserve bailout of private companies, officially making us a fascist government. And we got some stuff to say about that tonight, so we'll get it started. Who wants to open up? How about you?
All right, yeah, we'll introduce everybody. I'm Jay from East Greenwich, We the People contributor.
And I'm Adam.
I'm Richard.
Paul.
Leaf. And I'm Bobby.
All right, so to start all this off, I don't know if any of you watched the news, but they rejected the bailout plan today, and mostly Republicans voted against it, which is funny because it was a Republican bill. And we saw the biggest drop in Dow industry history, 777 points negative. The Dow closed today, which is really, really scary. I had friends text messaging me all day saying, "Hey, you ready for the Great Depression?" And yeah, I am, because it is coming. And, you know, just be prepared. All I can say is buy some canned goods and some things you need. You should probably buy a handgun. And I'm going to pass it now.
Well, hang on. Let me interject there. I propose that we start with the basics. Basically, what happened is a few years back, the government came down on all the private mortgage companies, all the private banking companies, people who give loans, lending, investment companies, insurance companies, all the pillars of the financial well-being of our nation. The government came down on them and said, "Look, you're going to give loans to every Tom, Dick, and Harry who wants a couple of bucks to do whatever they want with, whether they want a house, they want to start a business." They gave out loans like crazy. They required no proof that the people could pay back the loans. And I'm not blaming the people here, don't get me wrong. I know a few myself. Kids in candy stores will buy candy with whatever money they're given. When the government starts to interject in how private companies are gonna conduct business, the classical definition of that is fascism. So that's what happened. Now what we have are defaulted mortgages. We have companies that gave out money, made investments that began to fail, and it rapidly went downhill. And now we're at this point where major companies are going to fail in this country. Major companies to the point where our economy cannot sustain itself if these companies are not secure. So what happens is, like Jay here says, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, not many people are in tune with what that is, but basically it has to float at a certain point and able to sustain economy, and today it tanked. This looks probably a little bit worse than the Great Depression of the 20s and 30s. So what happens is basically all these companies are going to go to the Federal Reserve for funds to float them, to bring them back to financial stability. This has to go through Congress. It has to go to vote. So they write up a bill, a shotgun bill, last-minute thing. All the congressmen, senators interject their 2 cents worth of, probably is worth about 2 cents for each of them. And they come up with a plan. Here, we're going to write a bill. We're going to pass the bill. Everybody gets together to vote. Is the Federal Reserve, is the taxpayer money that goes into the Federal Reserve going to bail out private companies? Are we going to create fascism? So the vote comes up today. It is voted down. Why is it voted down? Because Speaker of the House, newly appointed weirdo Speaker of the House, she's probably on a bunch of drugs, Nancy Pelosi, got up and insulted President Bush although she shouldn't, it was not the right forum to get up and start insulting people. If our economy is in such detriment that it is right now, you don't get up and insult people and espouse your own political ideology, but she got up and did it. So a bunch of Republicans decide that they're insulted, so now the economy doesn't matter because they're insulted. That's it. They've been punched in the face, and they're going to get up and they're going to walk out and screw the economy. We're going on a 3-day Jewish holiday. That's where we stand right now. A bunch of shenanigans in our house basically disregarded what's good for our economy. And I'm not for the bailout, but the people who pretend to be for the bailout really let their social mishaps get in the way of the betterment of you and me and your family and your house and everything that matters to you. I see that as a giant scam, a giant manipulation of people's minds, a giant media hoax. They pretended like our Congress was a reality show today, and I think it's disgusting. Who's got something to say about that?
Well, I just want to respond to one thing. I'm really careful about talking about these people that, got these mortgages, because I don't think we're in this mess because they gave too much money to the poor. Okay? We're in this mess because they gave too much money to the rich, not the poor. Economists have gotten up and said you can add up all these mortgages of these unemployed people, and it doesn't mean a hill of beans to the mess we're in. So that's something that they're trying to say, oh, all these people just took these mortgages that they shouldn't have taken. Now, there's a couple of things that I wrote down here. I'll be real quick. If the Republicans really believed that we were on the brink of financial collapse, would they have left today on a 3-day holiday? I mean, think about that. No. They obviously didn't believe that we were in that much danger. Now, the Republicans came out and said they didn't vote for it because they were insulted, and so they weren't going to vote for it, which is absurd. And then the Democrats came out. I don't know how many of you heard Bonnie Frank. He said, did you hear what he said today? I heard what he said. He said, a lot of people are saying that we're not really in a mess. Maybe they're right. I don't know. Now, wait a minute. Here's a guy who is just ready to sign a bill for $700 billion who isn't even sure whether the problem is real. Okay? That's the Democrat side. So you got the Republicans insulted because of Nancy Pelosi, and you got the Democrats saying we don't really know if there's a problem or not, but they're willing to sign away $700 billion. Anyone see anything wrong with that besides me? And then how many saw the White House press conference today? Did you see that?
I saw some of it today.
I'm not talking about the one Bush talked at early.
No,
later on in the afternoon.
About 5 o'clock.
Bush had a press conference, supposedly. He doesn't come out of the White House. He sends Paulson to the mic. Paulson comes out of the White House, God's opening the doors and all that. I'm saying, who's the president now? Paulson?
The Treasury Secretary.
Paulson takes the mic, answers questions, has a press conference, then goes back in the White House. Nobody sees Bush at all. Does anyone see anything wrong with that besides me? It's like, what the hell is going on here? Now, I think what's going on is this. They are giving us such a roller coaster ride that within a week, America will be begging for a bill. They'll be calling up Washington saying, I don't care what you do, I don't care what you pass something. We want to make it look like. People that were against it will be saying, do something, because we can't take this insanity. That's what I think is going on right now. That's my opinion.
All right, the name's Leaf. We're on the economy here. Basically, just an artist from around town. I do my best to get by. Basically want to state that the big businesses are the ones that are suffering, and eventually we're going to feel the shockwave of what's going on right now. Get ready for a big change in life. Keep your morals about you and do what's right. Things need to be done, and we're here to do it. We're standing up here speaking and taking action. I think the rest